we'll go through guerrilla marketing and call it a day. First announcement, I've told you guys before that half of my job is being an author, and I have an opportunity, excuse me, for those of you who would like to get into being an author and doing publishing work to get involved with that. If any of you are considering doing a PhD at some point in the future and being a professor, or excuse me, if you just like to have a publication attached to your name on LinkedIn, it kind of gives you extra street credibility and expertise to be able to have a publication on your LinkedIn profile. There's a journal that is soliciting submissions from undergrads right now, and I want to point it out to you. If you go to Blackboard and you go to the information section, so 3450, information. If you scroll down to the same place where I have some of the other materials, there's a thing here, Call for Papers Flyer 2016. If you click on that and open it up, the Undergraduate Business and Economics Research Journal is putting out a call for papers from undergrads for this issue. They've got a deadline of November 30th. If anybody is interested in this, please just email me. I'm happy to help you with the paper. I'm happy to be involved with it. It would be great to see more of my undergrads get involved in publishing. So anybody that's interested, email me. We'll talk more. Okay? The brochure is there on Blackboard. Two quick announcements that are specifically related to the Edible Garden team. I've been able to add a couple of you to the Qualtrics survey. There's some kind of glitch that's preventing me from adding the rest of you. I've called Qualtrics, I've called the IT people here. I'm hoping to have it resolved within the next 24 to 48 hours. I'll keep you posted, okay? And if you haven't already, make sure you go in and join that Slack network that Jennifer Sanchez emailed us about. That's going to be really valuable for us to be able to communicate with each other. So that's that. Any questions about any of the announcements? Okay, cool. Let's talk about guerrilla marketing, and then let's go home. Anybody going to be upset with going home? Okay, cool. So guerrilla marketing, that's the second half of Monday's slides. And if you'll remember, oh, hang on. If you'll remember from last time, we kind of talked about stuff up to here. So, in the bigger picture of this class. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, we talked about web development. That's the materials up here. And then yesterday, or Tuesday, we talked about all of you going out and starting to talk to beta customers in various ways, and based on those conversations, developing some reports, which are kind of symbolized here. Now we're going to talk about rolling out a guerrilla marketing campaign based on those reports that you put together on your customer conversations. So that's kind of where things are in the bigger picture. Now, guerrilla marketing. First thing you want to do, obviously, is update your website and various social media pages based on the feedback that you got from those beta customers that you reached out to. So once you've edited things to properly reflect any feedback that you got from those initial contacts you talked to as customers. You need to identify 4 things. Before even this call to action, you need to identify the exact product or service that you want to focus on. The attention span that you've got from people in any kind of outreach that you do in guerrilla marketing, whether it's online or whether it's face-to-face, you might have 10 seconds of their attention. If you're lucky, you've got 30 seconds of their attention. You can't tell them everything about your company and every product and service that you offer in 10 seconds. You have to choose one particular product or service that you're going to focus on and pitch that in the small window of attention that you have. So first is to select exactly what you're going to focus on. Then is a call to action. So Jordan was talking a little bit about promotions before. Condor's team, pretty much 150 of those tickets that we sold last spring were all just because we told people that you had to, if you wanted to win the free hockey stick, you had to sign up by Friday with cash. It was that simple. And if we hadn't said that, people wouldn't have opened their pocketbooks and they wouldn't have paid for the tickets. It's amazing what a call to action will do. So, in the case of the edible garden, we've got a whole bunch of stuff going on right now, and I don't know how much we're going to need a call to action because we've got so much overwhelming response. But if we did, we could offer something like 5 pounds worth of the first lettuce produced from the garden for free if you are one of the first 25 people to give us feedback on what crops to put in the garden. If we needed more people, you'd be amazed at the kind of response we get if we just offer something for free and we say that there's a deadline if you want to get it. And even if it's a drawing, basically, so only one person wins it, human nature is everybody thinks they're going to be the one that wins it. There's only one person that won that hockey stick, but like 100 people thought they might. And they all acted based on that. So very important to have some kind of call to action to get people to move their butts and actually respond to your outreach. You need to know approximately what your pricing is. You need to know the advertising channels that you're going to use. And if you've done the right job with your beta customer outreach, then they have told you, okay, I use Yelp sometimes, and a lot of times I just listen to the opinions of my friends that talk to me face-to-face and recommend things, and every once in a while I'll do a Google search. If that's what it is, then we're going to build our guerrilla marketing campaign around word of mouth, Yelp, and Google, and we're not going to waste our time on anything else. If people say, yeah, if you come to my class and make a presentation, that really goes a long way towards doing things, then hell, we're going to do event marketing in there. It all depends on what people tell you in the beta customer outreach, but based on the beta customer outreach, you're going to select which channels you're going to use, and then you need to set realistic customer acquisition goals. So, I think the Condors team again is a great example. Actually, Jimmy's still here there's a couple Potty Boss team members too. So for Potty Boss, let's sell 10 first. Let's sell 1, and then 10, and then 50, and then 100. But if we start setting our goal at 1,000 seats sold, which is what Linda has in stock, we're gonna be disappointed because it seems like forever to get there. Let's shoot for 1 and then shoot for 10. Those are realistic goals, and then shoot for 50. And before you know it, we've got a couple hundred sold. For the Condors, let's shoot for 1 person at least signing up from each class, and then let's shoot for having 5 more signed up to make it to 20 by the next date or whatever. That's exactly how we did it the first time, and before you know it, it starts to snowball and it gets up over 100. But we start out just by having a sign-up sheet and having ourselves there in front of the room and saying, hey, if anybody's got the money right now, I've got tickets in my hand Come on. Somebody's got to want to. Like, the goal is just to have that first person say yes and have somebody from the room sign up to say that they're interested, and then we'll follow up with them. So first goal is just to not have a blank sheet when we leave the room. Next goal is to have somebody take money out of their pocket and buy the first ticket. And then the goal is to get to 5, and then to 10, and then to 50. And before you know it, we're over 200 and we're off to the races. So set realistic goals for the outreach, and then make sure that you track. You have a system in place for tracking potential customers. I'll get back to that at the tail end of the lecture today, but it's very, very important that you don't miss out on any information that you might glean as people start to respond to your campaign. So guerrilla marketing channels, there's 4 main ones: word of mouth, online, offline, and events. At least there's 4 in my world. Depending on who you talk to, there's a lot of other potential channels, but I tend to organize things into these 4 buckets. Word of mouth is practically free, and it's extremely effective. The way that works most effectively is that if you have champions. If you have, okay, I know that Morris, for example, has lots of friends, and I know I can count on him to tell 10 friends at least about this. And I know that Maricela, I know that she's really gung-ho about this. I know she'll find me at least 1 person to sign up, and I know she'll tell at least 20 people. So rather than like treating everybody the same like numbers, this usually works best when you have 5 or 10 people who you know are in your corner.
I'm not sure. Sorry.
It's okay. Who you know are in your corner, and you know are going to help you get the word out. That's the way it usually works best. Online is it can be very cost effective, and it's extremely focused. That's the best thing. I mean, like Jordan was showing you before, you can actually get down to like exactly how many people who are in this geographic area, who are male, who have these interests, and go online at this time of day. I'm going to pay no more than $10 for 20 of them. I mean, it's very, very specific, and you can even make it $5, $10 of spend. It's amazingly, amazingly specific. But you really need to know the exact profile of your customer. As Jordan showed, 1,800 people see that thing, but only 76 click on it. That means that 1,720 people were like, "What the hell is this?" The more specific you can be, the more you can put a post, something personal, something eye-catching up there, rather than something that just looks like marketing materials, the more likely you are to actually get people to click and respond. So the more you know exactly what that target customer is like and what they're going to respond to, the better results you're going to get from online marketing. Offline, also very cost effective. We're talking about things like brochures, posters, little pens like this. I mean, this right here is a walking advertisement for La Quinta Inn from the last time I stayed there. I took it with me, and I always think about La Quinta because it's right here. The 5th, not the 4th, not the 6th. Anyway, that's offline, and it usually works best when you do it in coordination with word of mouth, and you have champions that are going to make sure that your brochures don't just go to waste, that they are handed out to people who are going to look at them. The more that you have places that you place those brochures and posters where somebody is championing them, just like with your word of mouth, it's going to be more effective. And then events, that's pretty much what I've done so far for both the Edible Garden and the Condors. An event could be anything from standing up in front of a crowd like this where you got 20, 30, 40 people as a captive audience, to going to trade fairs, to going to events like runner nights and just having somebody that has some free samples, some free Condors trading cards and brochures, and just walks around and says, "Hey, there's going to be the runner nights at the Condors games, December 2nd. Here, take a. It's going to be super fun. Maybe you can even dress up like you even got like Kermit Claude coming around with you. The more you stand out like a sore thumb at an event like that, and it's fun rather than intrusive, the more you're going to be able to interact with people and get an opportunity to really develop a dynamic desire to take action on the part of the customers. So that is the guerrilla stuff. I also included in here, FYI for everybody, the prices and details of mainstream advertising, TV, print, radio, outdoor, which is basically it's a code word for billboards. You'll notice here the prices can be very, very low. Does anybody in here know what CPM is who was not in my class earlier today? CPM stands for cost per mil, which means cost per 1,000 people that saw your advertisements. So you noticed before Jordan had 2,000 for something like $10 or $5. That's pretty good, but you'll notice you can get 1,000 for $2.25 with billboards outside. You can get 1,000 for about $5.99 or $6 in TV. So they're really quite cost effective. The problem with mainstream media is that you can't buy just 1,000. You have to buy 1 million or 10 million at a time. You can't just buy 1,000. If you could, it'd be fine. But you have to buy 100,000 or 500,000 or 1 million. That's the cheapest. It's like being. How many people in here like have been to Vegas before or have been gambling before? It's like the only place that the only craps table available is the $50 one. You know, like there aren't any $5 tables available. That's the problem with mainstream marketing. Mainstream marketing is the $50 craps table. You can play, but every time you play, it costs $50, not $5. So that's the problem. But if you have that kind of money, it's very, very cost effective. And as small businesses start to grow and have more capital available, I highly recommend that they look into these as well. So guerrilla marketing channels, social media, text, phone, for the word of mouth, could be anything from just seeing friends of yours and saying, hey, XYZ. Could be giving somebody a call, sending a text, shooting off an email to them, sending a message on Facebook or LinkedIn. It's just talking to people you know and recommending something to them. Simple as that. For online channels, could be anything from Google AdWords, which, how many people in here are familiar with AdWords? Okay, how many people are familiar with the fact that on the right-hand side of the page on Google, there's a bunch of advertised links? That comes from Google AdWords, and you as a business go in and just like Jordan was showing you with Facebook, you can pay $5, $10, $20, whatever, to have your link show up on the right-hand side of the page if people search on certain keywords, if they're in certain geographic areas or whatever. So that's Google AdWords. Search engine optimization is SEO. So doing things with your website so that it actually pops up higher in the search results of the regular Google searches, not the sponsored ads. Groupon, Yelp, Yellow Pages, blog postings, e-blasts with email and banner ads. They're all part of online guerrilla marketing. Offline, like I said, it's pretty much brochures, posters, and other trinkets like postcards and matchboxes and pens and things like that. Events, like I just mentioned, street teams, so teams of people that'll go out and pass out free stuff at events, kind of like runner nights. Promotional events, things like this, coming into a class and giving a talk. Like Potty Boss, a promotional event is those Tupperware party kind of things that we talked about. Promotional event for the garden could be a huge groundbreaking ceremony where we invite people from all over the community to come and like help us cut the ribbon on like digging the first shovel of the garden. And while they're there, we get to pitch them on being donors in the future for the event, because they're already there and they're getting some nice food and some dinner and they're feeling good about everything, and it's a good opportunity to talk with them about being donors. And then going to conventions or trade shows, you'd be amazed. Every day there's some kind of convention or meeting going on in this town. It could be like the National Society of Manufacturers of like school chairs, but there's some kind of meeting going on in this town today like that. And you'd be surprised how many there are that are in some way or another relevant for your product or your service. So going to a convention or a trade show, if nothing else, there's networking events like the Chamber of Commerce here in Bakersfield has events every month where they invite people out. They're going to have an industry they're going to have a like Bakersfield Business Expo, I think in November. Hundreds and hundreds of businesses from all over Bakersfield are going to be exhibiting their products. You get a chance to have face-to-face conversations with hundreds of people that otherwise would take you a whole year of going to visit people face-to-face. You can get them all done in one place at one time with that kind of an event. I've included a bunch of stuff here that I went through this in more detail in my my earlier class today. I'm going to skip over this a little bit. I have included for your benefit in these slides a big chart with several pages of approximately the cost of each of the various types of online and word-of-mouth advertising channels. So, your website going to cost you, actually, it's even cheaper these days. It's going to cost you about $30 or $40 for annual renewal of your domain name, and it's going to cost you between $10 and $20 a month for web hosting. With $10 and $20 a month for web hosting and a one-time payment of $40 a month, $40 a year for renewing your domain name registration, you got a website, and it doesn't say project.wix.com/ediblegarden. It just says ediblegarden.com. So for $40 one time and $10 a month, you got yourself a website. Google AdWords can start as cheap as about $1 per click. So you'll notice that I was saying about the same number that Jordan had before. She had about 50 cents per click on Facebook, so even better. But about $1 per click. And you'll notice I'm not going to go over the details, but I put here in this middle column some useful apps that help you to maximize the performance of each of these media tools. So if you just go into Google or into your app store on your phone and type in Website Grader or Zamanta, Google XML Sitemap, you can download a lot of these apps for free, and they help you make your website even more efficient. They help you have better performance on Google AdWords and so forth. So banners can cost you as little as $1.50, can cost up to $17, $18. Blast emails. You can buy email addresses for about 10 cents per email address. The way that blast emails work best, however, is if you're sending them out to people that you know already in some way. Even if they are people that signed up one time and said, yes, I'd like to be on your mailing list, as long as you say in the email, hey, thank you very much for signing up a while ago for our mailing list. We really appreciate it. Here's what we wanted to tell you about today. And you give them a chance. If you don't want to be part of our list anymore, you can click here to unsubscribe. If you do that with people that signed up for a reason, there's sort of an implicit contract mentally or emotionally that people sign up for when they sign and say, yes, I'd like something. And if you reach out to them on email with that, even if it was a long time ago, I signed up for Groupon Cincinnati like 4 years ago. I still enjoy looking at what's on Groupon in Cincinnati, even though I can't do anything about it because I'm here. But I haven't unsubscribed because I still find the offers interesting, and the next time I'm in Cincinnati, maybe I'll use one if it happens to line up for when I go back for Christmas. So It usually works best to do blast emails when you've gotten buy-in already from somebody that they are willing to receive emails from you. Blog postings can cost you as little as $13 if you have somebody do it for you per blog posting. Facebook, free. There's an app there to help you do even more optimized Facebook marketing. LinkedIn, we've talked about. Pinterest and Instagram, Google Plus and Twitter. Search engine optimization. I'm going to click right to the next page here. I've listed a couple of companies that can help with search engine optimization. So, Crystal, when you're talking about the business you work for and the owner asking you to put together a Facebook page or put together a LinkedIn page for the business, I'm sure another thing would be, it'd be nice if our business popped up higher in Google search results. And you can certainly pay to be a paid advertisement, but you can do a lot of things just using the webmaster tools with Google to make sure that your page is more relevant and comes up higher in the search results. You can probably go from being on page 100 to being on page 3 or 4 just by using the Google tools. And then there's companies out there that will help you pop up on page 1. And they start as little as $100 a month, could be several $1,000s a month. It just depends on the nature of your industry and what you're trying to accomplish with your search results. But there's a lot to be done there. Tracking potential customers. I've listed a couple different sources here. Salesforce.com is really becoming one of the dominant softwares in this market. Really easy to use, super cheap, can cost you as little as $5 a month if you're a sole proprietor of a business. So Yolanda, if you guys wanted to use Salesforce to track customers for Freeze Prime in the future, I bet you could do it for less than $10 a month. And it's a hell of a lot easier to use than trying to put together your own thing in Outlook or Excel or Access. So they've become really good. NetSuite and MyDials are also two good vendors in that regard. But if I go on to the last couple pages here, a couple like observations from me about the science and art of selling. I've been, in one way or another, I've been a salesman for most of my professional career before coming back and being a professor. And even now, I'm selling projects to people. I'm always like still thinking like a salesman. And I'm gonna just leave a couple of these bullet points, but I'm gonna come right down to the second to the last one here and really underline that to you guys. You want to document everything. Like, no piece of information that you get is too small. Even if somebody clicked through and that's all they ever did, if you know who that person was that clicked through, at least for a millisecond, they were interested, and you want to make sure to reach out to them again a month from now or 2 months from now, or even pick up the phone and call and say, hey, this may be crazy, but I noticed somebody clicked on our ad here, and I was just really curious. Was it an accident, or were you interested in something? And if you're honest and transparent like that, you'd be surprised the kind of results you get just by calling back or sending an email to the company that clicked and saying, hey, I totally understand if it was a mistake, but if you clicked on purpose, we're really psyched that you clicked, and we'd love to hear why. No piece of information is too insignificant. And then, don't take rejection personally. Like, certainly when you're selling things and you're trying and you're playing the numbers game of having 10 irons in the fire for every one that works out. If you have 10 irons in the fire for every one that works out, that means 9 didn't. That means 9 people rejected you for every one person that liked you. That hurts after a while. It's hard to not take it personally, but you can't. It's just, if you want to live inside the box in your life and not take risks and not try and make something new happen in this world, then you can go through life without rejection. But as soon as you try to make something new happen, like, the reason that it's not already in existence is because it's hard and because you're going to face rejection. So just don't take it personally. Don't get down. It's part of the nature of being an entrepreneur. And then finally, I've listed some I've listed some resources here for those of you particularly interested in selling. It's not a core part of this course, but in many ways, sooner or later, if you're trying to make something happen as an entrepreneur or as a small business owner, you're going to have to be able to sell. And if that's the case, I highly, highly recommend these 3 books at the bottom of this page. I don't know where I would be as a salesperson if I hadn't read those books. They are absolutely essential, in my opinion, to anybody who wants to be good at selling. So I highly recommend that anybody in here that's interested in going further in that regard pick up those books. With that, it's about 8:07. We got a couple minutes early. I'm open to questions, but if there aren't any, go home and enjoy the weekend. And as soon as I'm able to figure out the technical problems, I will let you guys know about the Qualtrics survey.
Have a good weekend.
You too. You too. Take care.